Hey, if you got a Briggs Stratton carburetor on your lawnmower that looks like this, watch this video all the way through to the end to figure out how to usually repair this on your own. It's really not that difficult. Watch all the way through to the end, and you can see the little tricks that are inside of here. It's actually pretty simple. If this helps you out, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and see my playlist for other videos for do-it-yourself small engine and power equipment repair. Thanks. Okay, this one's pretty grimy and dirty, so what I like to do is take a little soapy water, just dishwashing liquid and water, and just get this blasted off with a garden hose, or even if you got a power washer laying around, even better. I just like to have things kind of cleaned off, so I'll put this soapy on here. All right, then I just take a little blower to it, get off this Okay, what we need to get this completely off the mower is taking out this carburetor screw that goes all the way down on the carburetor through the air cleaner, this 1/2-inch bolt connecting the tank to the block, and then there's another support bracket here. It's a 3/8, so we'll get this kind of loose. Get that bolt first, and now keep in mind that there is a spacer behind this bolt here. In between the tank and the block, there is a cylindrical spacer that you don't want to lose. That'll pop out here in a minute once I get it off, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It should pop off right now. Be able to get it out of there. You can see it. Okay, and it's located right here. If you can see back in there, it's not letting me get it right now. There it is. So don't lose that. That goes in between the tank right there, you can see, and the block. All right, so I just put that stuff on the deck real quick, and then we'll take the top part off, the screw out of here, and get it completely off of the mower. Okay, and that goes all the way down through the carburetor. That'll come off, and here's your air cleaner right there. We're going to take this apart. There's your air cleaner filter, and that looks pretty good. What you do is take that off, clean it off real good, and then you put a couple drops of oil on that, and then you just mash it up real good. That oil helps separate the particulates in the air from getting into the engine. Okay, so this is about ready to come off now. We want to pay close attention to how this comes off here, and we'll have this little linkage right here. We want to make sure that we don't mess this up. If the newer types of this are plastic that go down to the, basically it's the throttle plate right inside of here that moves back and forth. To see this thing's real dirty, but that's that throttle plate right there that the governor arm moves back and forth to regulate the speed. And then so we're going to get this wiped down. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Phillips screws that are holding the carburetor onto the tank. The carburetor's full, and we're going to see what's in there, but let's go ahead and take that off. Okay, so I'm getting ready to take these out with the Phillips. Just make sure you know that this little rubber elbow can come off. We'll be maybe taking that off, or just leave it in the same spot. Probably going to take it off just to clean it. So I'm going to remove these 5 screws. There we go. Now it's going to come off here. Okay, make note of what you see. And here's what it looks like underneath. We have this screen that comes off. We're going to make sure that that's nice and clean. There's no debris. We'll blow that out with some compressed air. It looks like you can kind of see through it. I can see through it pretty good, actually. Might be hard to see on the camera, but yeah, that looks pretty clean. We'll be blowing all this out, and don't lose this spring that's right here. Okay, Make sure that doesn't go anywhere. We'll set this to the side. We'll kind of wipe that down, brush it off, clean it off. And then right here is the diaphragm and gasket. So there's gasket first on here, and then there's a diaphragm, and it feels nice and subtle, soft. Feels like it should probably work. It doesn't look hard, and if this comes off easy, I'll take it off. But if it doesn't, I'll probably just leave it on. Okay, so it's coming off pretty easy. And I'm just feeling this diaphragm. So if it feels good, well, I'll just take it off. And I'm going to blow this out. So I'll probably get a razor blade to scrape this off. The diaphragm's on the lower part, so I really don't want to disturb it too much. If I can pull it off of here without damaging it, I will. So if I mess it up, I'm going to have to go buy a new one. And if it's salvageable, I'll just go ahead and reuse it. I probably have another one in my garage someplace that I could use if I don't get this off successfully, or I can just run down to the local hardware store. Most of your Ace Hardwares and places like that have them. So got that off, and now you look down in there in that little reservoir area down there. There's some debris, a little bit. And then I'm just checking for the soft, see how soft this diaphragm is. It is nice and soft. It's not hard at all. I'm going to totally reuse this. Okay, so we'll set that to the side. And now I've got my mason jar on the standby right here. I want to see what kind of gunk is in this gas tank. So let's see. Let's pour it out here in my mason jar. And it's looking pretty old, nasty. We'll see what comes out of that. Now we're looking for any water, that kind of thing. I don't see any in the bottom of this. Might be kind of hard to see, but it'll pool up down here on the lower part. The water will collect down at the bottom. I don't see any water in this. And then when you dump it out like this, if some gets on the concrete or whatever, if you look at this for a while, you'll start seeing where the gas evaporates and the water stays. So it looks to me like there's some water right in here in this area, and you can just dump this over, shake it out a little bit, and then we'll get some compressed air in on this after I wipe it off, and I'll brush off the carburetor itself and make sure I don't lose that spring and the filter. Put it all back together, and we'll see if this thing runs. Okay, something that I was checking out before reinstalling this. I got it all blown out, compressed air, blew out all the holes, brushed it off a little bit, not much. Before I went to put this back on the tank, I noticed here where this slides on the intake tube manifold right here, it looks to be missing a ring right in that groove where I'm pointing that screwdriver. Should be a rubber O-ring, and it's missing. It's not in there, it's not on there. And how this thing ran, I don't know. I just picked this up for free, and we'll see what's going on. But you should be able to, if I'm correct about this, yep, pull that little Teflon ring or plastic ring, whatever it is, take it out, and then this should have a ring in it, just like this. And then this kind of holds it in place, back in place. So you need to have that O-ring in there. Put a little dab of oil or something on there first, or get a little wet, and then slide it on that tube once you have the carburetor reinstalled back on the gas tank. And also, while you have it off, take a real good look at your primer bulb. Make sure it doesn't look cracked or anything, and that it's in good condition. Get it back on the tank, give it a couple squeezes, you know, making sure that it's sucking up gas. And you can see that before you put the air cleaner back on. Once you have everything installed and gas in the tank, give a couple squeezes, 3 or 4 squeezes, and you'll see a little gas squirting out there. And that'll tell you it's working good. Okay, let's get this back on the tank and install it. Okay, so we're getting the gas tank and carburetor assembly back on here. I want to be real careful when putting this in that bigger hole right there. Sometimes I like to spray, especially when taking them off. If they haven't been taken off in a long time, spray a little WD-40 or whatever you got onto there. And get it around that. Get it down in there really good first and then twist it because it's bent. Okay, so I'll kind of get this back into place. Then I'm going to get my spacer in place. Okay, let's see, get this on here. Doesn't want to go back on with that O-ring on there, man, but this thing's going to run a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to put my spacer, remember, when that came apart. Get that kind of back in place a little bit. Gotta mess with that a little. It's a little tricky getting back in there, but not that big of a deal. Kind of get started. Right there, get it lined up. I'll get this one lined up on the side. Let's kind of put this back together. Okay, get this tightened up. We'll go for the big one. That 1/2-inch bolt holding it onto the block. Okay, and we'll put some gas in it. I'm going to smell this gas that came out. I'm not seeing any water contamination in the bottom of that at all, but the gas smells terrible. And by now it should have evaporated. You can probably see on the ground here, it really hasn't evaporated. So that's just, that's some stuff that's been in there for a while that's broke down. Okay, we're gonna get some gas in it, and then I'll show you how the primer works if it's working. Okay, so we got this mounted back on. We got gas in there, and we're gonna check out the primer action and make sure it works. Look all the way down, see where that tube kind of starts sticking out like that? That's like the little primer jet. When we push it, if you're just filling it up, it'll take a couple, 3 or 4 pushes to suck that gas up in there. And then when you do that, see that little squirt? Squirts right out there. That means it's working perfectly. Okay, we're about ready to fire this thing up now. Just about ready. Get the gas cap on. That air filter looks really good and clean, and I think I'm just going to go use it as is. But like I said, if it's real dirty, you probably want to replace it. They get very, very crusty, but this one's so nice and clean looking. I'm just going for it, leaving it on there. There we go. Get this back into place. It's about ready to fire up. And I don't know much about this mower, but a little tip: if you don't know anything about the mower before you're trying to go pull start on anything, that's and it might fire or start up on you, I would definitely check and make sure it's got a blade. Okay, has to be a blade on there. Let's take a look and see. Can I see? Okay, so we see it's got a blade on it. So that engine needs that counterweight to be able to start properly and use that momentum of the blade weight to keep this thing turning over when you're pulling on the string to start it. And if you don't have that weight on there, there's a real good chance this thing could try to run backwards. If it does, and you're holding that pull rope real tight, it'll try to pull your fingers off your hands, and it hurts really bad. So just make sure you got that counterweight blade that's on there, and avoid injury. Okay, and with that, we already primed it a couple times. We got the air cleaner on there, so it should have a rich mixture for starting right up. Let's see if we can get a first pull start on this. I've never tried to start this machine. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's telling me that diaphragm might be bad. I did not check the oil on this thing. Even though the diaphragm looked good, it might be bad because it's not staying running. Maybe it only needs another prime to get it really going good. Okay, so this has got, check the oil, just about right at the full mark, so that looks pretty good. Don't want to run it without any oil in it. Probably should have done that first. Okay, going to try to prime it and start it again, maybe even another time after this. See if we can keep it going. All right, not bad, not bad. Just needed that second try. It's probably a first pull start motor right now. Now it's got that O-ring in it, things should run a lot better. Probably not warm enough to start without priming. Okay, a quick little tip on the engine RPM. If this thing, it seems to be running slow, this spring right here, the tension of this spring, the more tension on the spring, the higher the RPM. If you reduce spring tension, the lower RPM. So if you see, if I pull it this way, or one way or the other, I'm putting more or less tension on this thing. The RPM seem pretty good the way it's set right now, but we could actually adjust this a little bit, going back and forth with this spring as it's running. Okay, so that's something. If your engine RPM, seems like it's very, very low, or if it's too high, you can adjust it right here. Just the spring tension. Sometimes these don't move. You just take a pair of pliers, and while it's running, being very careful. You don't get up underneath the mower or anything like that when you're doing it. Have somebody hold the handle for you, and you can take a pair of pliers and move this arm back and forth. So it would be out like this with increased spring tension, and it would cause it to run higher. If you bent it back that way, it would release or remove some of that spring tension. And what you want to look for on your particular Briggs & Stratton engine, especially if you have a Briggs, is this model number right here, okay? You'll see this. This is the model, type, and code number. Okay, so you got model, model, type, and then your code. So I think here on the type, what does it say, the 03, this might be a 2003 motor, or it's an 05. And the code, I don't know if it's the type of code, but the first two digits is the year of it. And this breaks it down, this whole code breaks it down to like where it was manufactured, what state, what city, manufacturing plant or whatever, and what date even, this engine was built. So if you want to know exactly what RPMs, constant RPMs this engine in particular should be running on, or running at, you want to look and find this number on your Briggs & Stratton engine shroud. Okay, they all have them, and you just want to look that up, get a proper tachometer, it's up to you, and then go for it. If you fix your power equipment problems, subscribe and check out my playlists to save you a lot of money.